strange and charmed ones, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I wanted to talk to you about a new social media platform that I've been using and loving. And as you can tell from the title of this video, that app is Periscope. Periscope is a live streaming video app that's currently available for iOS and Android devices, and it has a really interesting premise. Their tagline is actually "Discover the world through someone else's eyes." So this is really an application that is truly unique. It's really meant to connect people around the world and create that sense of global community, unlike anything else I've really seen in the social media world currently online. And from my short time using the app and watching people's broadcasts and broadcasting my own live stream, I really think it's doing an amazing job of creating that sense of community and connection from all across the globe. Now, I got into Periscope a few weeks ago, just about the time when all the hype was building up steam around the app. And it was brought to my attention because I had been following a number of different business gurus who had started doing these sorts of live stream events through the app. And of course, being their fan, I didn't want to miss out. So I joined Periscope to see what all the fuss was about. And I was seriously blown away at what I was seeing. Essentially, I was getting one-to-one FaceTime with entrepreneurs that I really respected, and the ability to connect with them so quickly and seamlessly and ask them my questions was a really awesome experience. Now, later on in this video, I am going to give you guys a list of some people that I've been watching and loving on Periscope. But first, I wanted to give you guys a demo of the app in case you're not familiar with it and you're not sure how to use it. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys is what the app looks like. Obviously, I've got an iPhone, so I'm not sure what it looks like in Android, but I'd expect it looks pretty similar. So it's just here on the center of the screen here. I'm just going to go ahead and tap that. And it opens it up and it logs me in, okay? So the thing that you want to know about Periscope is that when you sign up for an account, you can choose to link it to a Twitter account, which is really, really awesome because basically what Periscope will do is it will take all of your information, your picture and your description from Twitter and actually pull it into the app, which is really awesome. It makes sharing your scopes. Scope is the colloquial term for the events, the live broadcasts that you will share with the world. So Twitter makes it really easy for you to integrate with Periscope and share your content with the rest of the world. So as you can see, when you open up the app, you come to like a main home screen that's denoted at the bottom by this little TV sign. This screen is basically your dashboard for any current events that are happening and any recent events of people that you're following. So the way that Periscope works is that you do need to be following people in order to get notified when they are hosting a Periscope event. So as you can see up here in my offline, it says is Gabby Bernstein, I guess just had an event, or perhaps she's setting it up right now. I'm not sure what that means actually, that it's offline. But you can see that I also have a bunch of recent events that I can go back and watch. Periscope is meant to be a live streaming broadcast. However, they will save the scopes for people to replay for 24 hours. As you can see, I've got 8 recent events in here from people that I'm following. Also within the app, it's really interesting because if you have someone who you are following that shares a scope event with you, that will also show up and you will also be notified in your recent events. For example, the 3rd recent event down says Valerie Waters, Val's Rule of 5. I don't know who that person is per se. This was something that was probably shared by one of my friends, someone that I'm following probably wanted me to watch it, so it's showing up in my recent list. So that is another way that you will be notified of different scopes. If you're not following someone, if someone that you are following shares their event, you'll see it and you'll have access to it as well. So moving on from this screen, the next screen you've got here is the little globe sign. I just tapped that on the bottom. And it gives you 2 different views for seeing where there are Periscope events happening all across the globe. Remember, the tagline for Periscope is "Discover the world through someone else's eyes." So this app really gives you the ability to just scroll around and see where there's different events across the globe. So you can see there's a bunch of events in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, all throughout Asia, and the Middle East. It's pretty awesome, right? So you can choose to go in and tap in. I'm gonna tap in where it says around New York. It says there's 30, and I can see down here a bunch of different scopes actually pop up, which is pretty cool. Now, the second view over here is the list view. The list view will show you any live events that are going on right now. And it kind of highlights maybe like the top 3 maybe events that are going on right now. I'm not exactly sure how that algorithm works for how they choose the 3 that you show, but then it also shows you some other ones that are going on as well. So you get a preview of 3 of them, and then you get a whole list of all the rest of the ones going on right now live. So I can go ahead and watch someone's Periscope. Now, I'm not going to watch anyone's Periscope right now. I don't want to infringe on anyone's intellectual property or anything like that. So I'm going to skip actually showing you guys watching a Periscope, but I am in a moment going to host one live so you guys can check it out and see the functionality on the end of the host of the scope. So I'm actually going to skip over the next little icon at the bottom, which is the camera, because that's to set up your own Periscope event. And I'm going to go to the little people icon. Now, the people icon takes you to a list of people that you're following on Twitter, if that is the integration that you've chosen to have it integrated with Twitter. So you can go through your list and follow different people that are interesting to you based on the people you're following on Twitter. You also have a search button up top that you can use to find new people. So let's say you went in here and you wanted to find me. You would search for MissTrenchcoat, right? And then there I am, Alexis, 297 followers. You've got my picture and the description that pulls from Twitter, which is pretty cool. So another thing you've got over here is your ability to see your profile. That's also in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So I'm clicking on that. It's brought you to my profile. You can see that I'm following 44 people currently. I've got 297 followers. I haven't blocked anyone. Luckily, I haven't had to do that. I've had 4 broadcasts, and then I have a couple of different options for settings, which is pretty awesome, right? Okay, so that is an overview of sort of the functionality inside the app. Let's go ahead and click on the live broadcast and we can start actually filming something right now. So something to keep in mind is that, and you guys are probably seeing this right now, when you start your broadcast, it actually uses the rear camera, not your front-facing camera. So you're seeing right now, there you guys are, you're seeing yourselves in the camera right there. Isn't that pretty cool? So the screen here says broadcast now, what are you seeing now? So they're prompting you to tell people what you're seeing. However, this is the area where you're going to actually put your title. So I'm just gonna let you guys see my blank wall right now so you're not blocking my face. So what am I gonna be broadcasting right now? I'm gonna say behind the scenes, filming a Periscope demo for YouTube. Isn't that cool? And then I'm going to actually use my hashtag. I've created my own like custom hashtag, charmed scope. And when I say I've created my own custom hashtag, there's no process you use for creating that. You just decide if you want to use a custom hashtag and you start using it. So since I'm strange and charmed, this is Periscope. Like I said, the colloquialism for this event is a scope. So I put that together. I'm charmed scope, right? So that is going to be what is tweeted out to my followers. As you can see down at the bottom above the start broadcast button, I'm hitting, if I hit that little Twitter thing, it says Twitter post off. I want it on. Of course, I want this to go to Twitter. The next option I have is this little bubble. It says only users you follow can chat. I don't want to do that. I'll let everybody chat. There's also a little lock button here that kind of gives you privacy options. So I don't need any privacy options for this. And then the last one is location services, the little arrow. I want to turn off my location services. When the location services are on, it'll basically show people exactly where you are, like on the map. And I don't want people to like know exactly where my house is. So now if people find me, they'll see that I'm in the general vicinity of Philadelphia, which is my metropolitan area, which is perfect. So are you guys ready? Let's hit start broadcast and do a quick little scope. And you guys can see, and we'll talk a little bit more about how Periscope works and the functionality. So let's hit start broadcast. Okay, so I've just started the broadcast. As you can see up top, I've got the option that says swipe down to change my camera view. That's what I'm gonna do. You swipe down and I'm gonna change the camera view so that I'm looking at myself and then I'm putting it back. So I'm seeing here at the bottom that a lot of people are starting to join, and I'm just gonna give them a message so they know what's going on. Hey everyone on Periscope, thank you so much for joining. My name's Alexis, MissTrenchcoat, and I am actually in the middle of filming a demo of Periscope for my YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much. Feel free to say hello to the world because you are on YouTube right now. Let's keep the comments clean though, please, pretty please, so I don't have to do any heavy editing later. But basically, for those of you who are watching me on Periscope right now, if it sounds like I'm talking to someone else, it's because I'm talking to my DSLR right now. And I'll actually give you guys a little preview so you can actually see that. I am talking to my DSLR and I'm filming. Isn't that cool? Hey Mandy Jean, how are you? So this is really awesome, you guys, because basically I'm talking to my followers. And it's not just people who are following me who are able to see this. Again, if people are looking and searching through the map, they'll be able to find this Periscope. And of course, also through Twitter, which is really awesome. So some interesting things about Periscope to note is you may have noticed there are these little hearts that are popping up on the side of my screen. That's my followers giving me they're giving me love, basically. So hearts are kind of like a rating system in Periscope. And you can see there's lots of different hearts. And as I said that, people started sending me some hearts, which is beautiful. Mandy Jean, one of my very good friends, a bunch of people here are starting to share this on Twitter. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But let's finish up with the hearts. So the hearts are basically, you tap the screen anywhere on the screen as you're watching someone's Periscope event, you can give them hearts and love. Something really interesting to keep in mind, because this is the rating system, Periscope only gives you 500 hearts to use per broadcast. So if you're trying to give someone more hearts, let's say it's a longer broadcast, you need to pop out and then pop back in, which is really awesome. So yes, so the hearts, you just tap anywhere on the screen, you can give hearts. There's also a user count of how many people are here with me. There's 18 folks here, which is really awesome. And of course, people have the option to actually leave me comments, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if I actually have the ability while I'm in here to share it. I do, okay. So if you swipe to the left on an iOS device, and I believe it's swiping up on an Android, you actually have the ability to see more options. Now this, I'm actually able to see my live viewers, but if you were watching this, you would get options in here, an option menu to share my broadcast. Like I said, you saw some people earlier who were sharing my broadcast, which is really awesome. So yeah, let me just say a quick hello to you guys here on Periscope. I'm so sorry I'm talking to a camera right now. But yes, if you guys are following me on my YouTube channel at MissTrenchcoat, youtube.com/@MissTrenchcoat, and a very kind soul just typed that in a few moments ago. Hello, Tiny Tots Adventures, and hello, YouTube. Yes, thank you so much, you guys, for sharing that. Thank you, Mandy Jean, for putting in my URL for people to go see this. But yes, this is going to be my YouTube video on Sunday is going to be all about Periscope. So if you guys are interested in it, I'm going to be giving my tips for Periscope. I'm going to be giving a demo for anyone who doesn't know how to use it. Obviously, if you guys are watching this right now, you know how to use Periscope, which is very convenient. But yeah, I'm going to be giving tips for how to grow your following on Periscope, and also going to be sharing my favorite Periscopers, because I know a lot of people have been asking me for that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so that I can move on to filming the next part of my YouTube video. But thank you guys so much for taking this time and joining me. And I hope you guys are interested in watching this video and seeing yourselves live on YouTube later on this weekend on Sunday when my video goes up. So thank you guys so much. Hearts on fire for me for this event. If you're really excited about learning more about Periscope and growing your following, that's obviously, you know, I love teaching you guys how to use different social media. So thank you guys so much for all the hearts. And I am going to talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much. So then all I'm doing is pulling down to stop the broadcast. And voila, I have done a Periscope broadcast live for YouTube. So, like I said in this video, I do want to share some tips with you guys and some of my favorite Periscopers. So that's what I want to show you guys in this next portion of the video. Okay, you guys, so I've gone ahead and I've put my iPhone away for this portion of the video because we don't need it. And I've pulled out my planner notebook here so that I can give you guys my best tips for how to grow your following on Periscope and really do a really excellent job of creating an experience for your community that really makes them want to share your content so that you're growing and expanding your followers on Periscope and finding all the success that you want through this new awesome platform. So my first tip for you guys is to do a little bit of pre-planning, right? So if you want to hop on Periscope, and I've seen some people do this the right way, and what I would say is maybe not the best way. If you want to go ahead and start using Periscope, I really think it's important to start to plan something out. Have an idea of when and where you're going to be when you are going to be filming, and what your topic is going to be. Because it is a little bit inconvenient if you are, I don't know, just pulling out your phone to do your first Periscope broadcast and no one really knows what's going on, and you yourself don't really know what's going on. So there's nothing wrong with that, just testing out the platform, but I think it's a really good tip to go ahead and do a little bit of pre-planning. Make sure you've got a topic ready, and make sure you know how long you want to be on for and the things that you want to say, generally speaking. You don't have to have a script, but do a little bit of pre-planning. It'll go a long way. My next tip is to announce your event before the day comes. So if you let people know a couple of days before that you're having an event and let them know how they can follow you, chances are you're going to have more people show up, right? Because you've given them a date to write down in their calendar. Now, this is something that I did right before I did my first Periscope. I did a blog post, talked about Periscope and how I was interested in using it, and told you guys when and where you could join me. I gave you guys my handle, and I said at this time on this date, watch out because I'm going to be doing a Periscope. And then I even took it a step further, and right before I went on the Periscope, about 20 minutes before, I put up a picture on Instagram and reminded everyone, hey, you guys remember, my Periscope is coming up in 20 minutes, please join me. And I had a tremendous turnout, I would say, on Periscope for my first scope event, my first charm scope, which was really awesome. So I think announcing your Periscope event is really, really crucial. The next thing you're going to want to do is create a clever headline and, if you would like, a custom hashtag. So as you saw, you watched me in the demo create a little hashtag where I said behind the scenes, demoing Periscope for YouTube, and then I put my charmed scope hashtag in there. So basically you want to make sure you're creating a headline in that space that Periscope provides, that's really something that's optimized for Twitter, right? So unfortunately, Periscope, in their little description box, it tells you to fill in what you're seeing, right? If I were to say, my DSLR camera in my office, it might not be as interesting for people to watch, but I bet that a lot of people would be interested in watching that behind the scenes demo of me using Periscope for YouTube, right? That's a little bit more interesting. And then of course I integrated that custom hashtag that I used for my Periscope events, CharmScope, because basically what happens is that when that goes out to Twitter, if anyone is looking for me, they're using that hashtag, seeing that hashtag, they're going to be able to see the event and know that it's there, which is really awesome. My next tip for when you do start your event is to make sure that you introduce yourself, tell people what you do and where they can find you. I've seen a couple of events where people pop on and are just kind of like fumbling, and a lot of times people like to sit and wait for more people to pop on. And this reminds me of a really great article. I have this wonderful member of my community named Deb, who recently did a blog post, and I'll link that down below because it has some more really great Periscope tips. But she did a blog post on her experience with Periscope and how she thought that although Periscope was a really great community builder, the way I believe it's a really great community builder, she also said that, if you weren't careful, you could damage your brand by kind of coming off the wrong way. And one of the points that she made that I really loved was that she said that, if you're waiting for a certain number of people to come on, don't sit there and tell us that. Don't say, well, I'm not starting my event until X number of people join, because it makes the people who did show up feel like they're not worthy. And I thought that was a great point. So I completely understand wanting to wait until you've got a couple more people trickling in, because that's what ends up happening, right? When you're on Periscope, even if you announce it, everyone doesn't jump on exactly at that moment. People kind of trickle in. That's how it is with events. But I find that if you use some fillers like introductions, right? and talking about yourself, it's a good way to buy yourself some time at the beginning of your Periscope without making the people who are there feel like you're not talking or you're wasting their time, right? So make sure you take advantage of that time in the beginning and let people know who you are, because remember, it's not just your followers that are going to be seeing this. Really, the entire world can see this broadcast. And if someone doesn't know who you are, they might just click off. But if you're introducing yourself and what you do and where they can find you online, they're much more inclined to maybe want to stick around and see what you've got to say. The next tip I've got for you guys, which is another one of those time filler tips, right, is to say hello and engage with your audience through shout outs, right? This buys you so much time without you having to say, oh, I'm starting in a few minutes, right? Because you can sit there and say, hey, you guys, hey, to this person or that person. You guys heard me give some shout outs to some people that I recognize their names while I was doing my demo. Giving shout outs is great. People love that. I mean, this is one of those live streaming things where, you know, make sure you're acknowledging people that are there, because there really is no reason not to. And it kind of buys you some time. It gets the people interacting with you and gets them excited to be at your event. The next thing that I like to do is to ask the people who have joined to share and to start giving those hearts, right? So like I showed you, there's a way that you can swipe to the left during a broadcast if you're a viewer, and you can share that broadcast to the world. Obviously, I didn't have that option because I was the host of the event, but if you take a similar route as I did, swiping left or swiping up, if you're on an Android device, you can share the event on your Twitter or to the followers that you have on Periscope. So something that I like to do is to remind people to share the event right at the beginning, right? So again, we're getting some more people trickling into your event. At this point, I also like to introduce my topic and of course give people an idea of how long I want to be on for, right? So if you just want to pop on for a quick 5 minutes and say, hey, I'm just testing this out, you guys, let me know what you think of Periscope, right? You don't have to have a topic ready to talk about. A lot of the events and scopes going on Periscope are really super casual, but I think if your main focus is to grow your Periscope and to create a really great community experience, make sure you let people know how long the event is going to last, because unfortunately, there's no timetable that Periscope gives you. When you do watch a replay, you actually see at the bottom a little loading bar that's very small, but there's really no way to fast forward through a Periscope event, even when you're watching in replay. So if you're giving people an idea of how long the event's going to be, they can choose whether or not they want to stay on or watch it later or any of that jazz. So make sure you're clear about the timetables. That'll help you in your organization and help them as well really feel like they know what to expect. And then, of course, my final content is just to deliver really great content to the people who are there to watch. Give them something to look at. You know, I personally follow a lot of business people on Periscope, but that's not the only way you can use Periscope. There are a lot of different people who are showing a lot of different forms of entertainment, doing Q&As and just kind of touring around their cities, which is really lovely. There's a lot of live music events that are happening through Periscope, which is really awesome. So, you know, just make sure you're delivering something special. If you're a business person and you want to share some tips and tricks, make it short and sweet. Make sure you are delivering that value. If you are a musician and you want to play a song or sing a song for your Periscope followers, make sure you do that and, you know, do it to the best of your ability, which I'm sure you were already planning on doing anyway. But just think about it every time you're going on Periscope. Make sure you're adding value, because it's one of those sorts of platforms that kind of is easy enough to just start up and get going. But if you didn't put enough thought into what's going on, you're probably not going to be cultivating that community aspect, and you're not going to be cultivating that follower growth that you're probably looking for if you're watching this video. So that is my final tip for how to grow your following on Periscope. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Now let's talk about the 5 accounts that I've been loving on Periscope. Number 1, my very good friend Anne Samoylov has been doing these amazing Periscopes in the mornings throughout the week. She will get on Periscope and set her top 3 to-dos for the day, which you guys know if you guys follow me, I'm totally into the whole top 3. I love that. So Anne gets on and just spends a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, talking talking to her community, asking them what their top 3 is, what their priorities for the week are. And it's a really great use of just a 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, which is pretty awesome. So check out Anne. Of course, I will leave her link to her Periscope handle down below. The next person that I've been watching, and one of the big reasons I got into Periscope, was Pat Flynn. You may be familiar with the entrepreneur Pat Flynn from his Smart Passive Income blog, but he is a really great force within the entrepreneurial business community, and he does some really great scopes, a lot of behind the scenes while he's filming his podcasts, even some personal things with his family, which is pretty cool to see. So I really like Pat Flynn, and I would highly recommend watching him as well. The next entrepreneur that I love watching is Alex Beeden. Alex Beeden is another online business guru, and in a lot of ways, you know, I really relate to Alex Beeden because she and I have pretty similar businesses. We both do e-courses and educate other entrepreneurs online, and I love watching her because Alex is one of those people that is, in my opinion, just a little bit ahead of me in her career and in her business. So I love seeing what she's up to. And she does a lot of traveling. So it's really great to see her traveling and hopping and bebopping around because she's really living that sort of nomadic entrepreneur lifestyle, which is something that I'm really into. The next business guru that I am watching on Periscope is a lady that I was introduced to through Anne Samoylov, and her name is Denise Duffield Thomas. She is a money manifestation specialist from down under. I think she's Australian, or maybe she's from New Zealand. I have a hard time distinguishing accents in that region, but suffice to say, she's really great. She does a lot of Periscopes throughout the week and really has some really great tips for bringing money into your life if that's the sort of thing you're into. And the final person I've been watching and loving on Periscope is a guy named Chris Ducker. He is a popular author who writes about online entrepreneurship and online business, things like that. And he has basically become the unofficial cheerleader for Periscope. He does a lot of these Periscope events, a lot of them actually with Pat Flynn, which is pretty cool. And he really is doing a great job sharing with people other tips and tricks for how to grow your following, not just on Periscope, but other social media as well. So if you're interested in that, check out Chris Ducker. His custom hashtag is Duckerscope. You may have heard that being referenced if you've been, you know, dabbling in the Periscope community. So those are the 5 people that I'm following. I know they're all online business people, but that's what's interesting to me. So if you guys have some other accounts or some other people that you're following on Periscope that are really cool, you know, I've heard of this, there's a street magician that's on Periscope that's apparently really popular. There's a lot of different things going on in Periscope. So leave me some names of people you would suggest for me and the rest of the community to check out. So I hope this video was informative. I hope you learned a little bit more about how to use Periscope and some tips on really how to grow your following. And of course, got some ideas from people to follow based on, you know, what my taste is if you have a similar taste to me. If this video was helpful for you, please, please, please share it. Share it in your social media. Go ahead and tweet it out. Leave a link in Facebook somewhere. Feel free to take this video and blog about it. If you're going to write a blog post about Periscope, I would love it if you shared this. You could definitely share any of my videos in a blog post and just say, you know, this is a video that can help you guys as a resource, because that's what I'm here to be, as a resource for you guys. So please, if this was helpful, share it out. I would love that. Of course, if you have any additional questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to help you guys out and answer those questions. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, you guys, bye-bye.